Tonight, United Conservative Party faithful support the leader.
People believe in this province. Alberta is the place to be.
Danielle Smith speaks to a record leaders' dinner crowd. Pedestrian struck. First responders scramble to help a victim at a busy southwest intersection. And don't mess with the boss. A famous Banff Park Grizzly gives Parks Canada trackers the slip.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Sean Frenet.
Good evening. The United Conservative Party is boasting about its fundraising, and its leader is striking positive notes about the future of Alberta as this fall's referendum continues to generate debate. Danielle Smith spoke to a sold-out $250 a plate dinner in Calgary tonight.
I've always been clear that I believe in a strong and sovereign Alberta within a united Canada. That is the position, That is the position of our party, our caucus, and our government. However, when it comes to the question of Alberta's future in Canada, I've encountered four different perspectives over the last number of weeks. First, of course, there are those who are asking, why are we having a vote on Alberta separation at all? And the answer to that is simple. We believe that when an issue is important to Albertans, they should have a way of putting those ideas forward.
Smith went on to say that kicking the can down the road by delaying a referendum would muzzle debate. She reiterated she will personally vote to remain in Canada. The annual UCP Leaders' Dinner was held at the BMO Centre, with Smith speaking on a central stage. 2,000 people were in attendance, and the party says more than $1 million was raised. The party says it out-fundraised the opposition NDP by a 2-to-1 margin in the first quarter of 2026. Smith urged Albertans who are leaning towards separation or are frustrated at Ottawa to consider gains she says Alberta has made.
Together we did such a great job advancing Alberta's position on energy that the federal Liberals finally adopted most of our positions on energy and resource development. Truly.
Earlier today, the Premier said she's hopeful a pipeline project can help quiet some of the dissenting voices of separation. The countdown is on for the Alberta government to submit its proposed pipeline project to the West Coast to the federal government's Major Projects Office. Tyson Fedor has that story.
Alberta Premier Danielle Smith reaffirmed her vision Friday that an oil pipeline to the West Coast can happen.
What we're looking at is feasibility, what makes the most sense. The easiest route from an engineering point of view, cost-effective point of view. How do we get closer to being straight on a deep water port?
Smith confirmed reports of 5 possible routes that are on the table, with one to southern BC and the city of Vancouver, while 4 others pass through northern BC to the Prince Rupert area.
It's tough because there's a lot of good opportunities and a lot of good options, but we have to narrow it down to one of those, and that one will be submitted to the Major Projects Office by July 1st.
I hear that there are leaks of potential routes that I don't know who drew them. I don't know whether Premier Smith drew them.
BC Premier David Eby said this week his province has yet to find a seat at the table through pipeline discussions.
There is no world in which there will be a pipeline that goes through the north of British Columbia if it requires the oil tanker ban to be lifted.
The Nisga'a-Lism's government north of Prince Rupert says it has not held discussions with Alberta or Ottawa, as it was unaware that corridors or port locations were being considered on its land. The First Nations group adds that nothing can happen without its consent.
Our intention is to work expeditiously and try to make sure we can get West Coast access for Alberta energy products. What we're always looking for is engagement. We want to make sure people are participating along the way and making sure that those conversations are robust.
But some pro-business development groups say the Prime Minister is holding back major projects from being built, saying he is moving at a snail's pace compared to his message of building at speeds not seen in generations.
We talk about maybe having shovels in the ground in 2027, and this was what was said in 2025. So in other words, in 2 years, we might have gone through all the hurdles, the ridiculous hurdles that government puts in the way.
Tyson Fedor, CTV News, Calgary.
Alberta's Transportation Minister dodged the question when asked how he plans to vote in October's separatism referendum.
I see the media has been asking lots of politicians what their opinion and what their singular vote is going to be. But I do find it interesting that I haven't seen a lot of pressure on the federal government to see what they're going to do, because it is the federal government's primary responsibility to make sure that the country stays together.
That was Dreeshen's response when he was asked whether he will vote for Alberta to remain in Canada or in favour of a future binding referendum on separation. So far, only 10 UCP MLAs have publicly said they will choose to remain in Canada. A billboard in the town of Taber that is fueling the separatist debate continues to gain attention. The electronic sign off Highway 3 has a display saying, "Send Ottawa a message, choose Alberta." The billboard is authorized by the Pathway to Independence group and Western Standard political commentator Corey Morgan. Officials from the town of Taber say they've received complaints, but the sign is privately owned and operated and is on property leased from the town. The town says concerns it's received from the public have been communicated directly to the leaseholder. The Premier doesn't believe fraud will be a problem when healthcare numbers are attached to driver's licenses. The Premier says the new licenses have 57 security features to protect against fraud, and it hasn't been an issue in BC, where they've already combined the cards. Smith also believes the change will increase the level of security because healthcare numbers will now have a photo and address attached to them. Alberta's Privacy Commissioner continues to encourage the province to introduce extra security safeguards.
What that tells me is that they're taking steps so that the card can't be replicated. So that's important. But the number is visible. And if the number is visible, that means it can be collected by any person that has access to the card.
McLeod also points out the Registrar of Motor Vehicles is not legally bound by provincial privacy laws. The province is currently doing a privacy impact assessment. The new identification cards will begin rolling out on July 2nd. Police say a pedestrian has died from their injuries after being struck by a vehicle near Westbrook Mall this afternoon. It happened around 3:45 on Bow Trail and 37th Street when the pedestrian was struck by a commercial truck. EMS says the patient was rushed to Foothills Hospital in critical condition, but was pronounced dead tonight. Bystanders say the pedestrian was crossing Bow Trail with a couple of other people when the vehicle struck the victim. Police say the driver stayed on the scene. The intersection and surrounding streets were closed for several hours. Witnesses saw first responders doing all they could to help the pedestrian.
They're doing CPR compressions the whole time, and then for a good 10-15 minutes, and then finally when they put her on the gurney to take her to the ambulance, they were doing CPR all the way to the ambulance as well.
The police collision reconstruction team was on the scene for some time tonight, gathering evidence as part of the investigation. Police are investigating after a man was shot in southeast Calgary this morning. Investigators say the victim went to a home in Forest Lawn just after 6 a.m. asking for help. He was taken to hospital in stable condition. Police believe it's a targeted shooting and no one has been arrested. Police are looking for help to identify one man and 4 women who may have been involved in an assault at the Lions Park LRT station. Emergency crews responded to Sunnyside LRT station around 5:30 yesterday afternoon for reports of an injured person. A woman suffered serious injuries and is recovering in hospital. Now, during the investigation, police determined the assault happened around 1:30 in a grassy area south of the Lions Park LRT station platform. Meteorologist Daniel Savoni's here with our first look at the weather. Danielle, a mild weekend ahead, but still a chance of getting wet.
Oh, yeah. So just how today behaved is what you can expect for tomorrow. It's the same weather pattern tomorrow. So in the morning, some sunshine with some cloudy periods. But then by the afternoon, especially after 3 in the afternoon, that's when we get into the chance of those isolated showers. We also have a small risk of a thunderstorm later in the day as well. Daytime high of 18, and yes, by the afternoon it will start to get windy once again, up to 40, even 50 kilometer per hour gusts. Your full weekend forecast is just ahead.
All right, thanks very much, Danielle. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency is placing temporary import restrictions on livestock entering Canada from affected areas in the U.S. after a case of screwworm was confirmed. The infestation was found in a calf in Texas, and the agency says the restriction will include imports of horses as well. The parasitic fly can kill livestock if not treated. The U.S. government will quarantine the area in Texas where the infected calf was found. Trains could become a bigger part of your Alberta travel plans. The province has released its passenger rail master plan with routes connecting the airport to downtown, Banff, Edmonton, and other communities. Alicia Fieldberg has more on the 30-year vision.
Travelers at YYC will be able to make a new connection by hopping on a train into Calgary, possibly in the next few years. Rail lines connecting Calgary and Edmonton's airports to their city cores will be the first projects in the province's passenger rail master plan, because that's what Albertans flagged as a priority.
Identifies a passenger rail network that will transform the way Albertans live, work, and travel across our beautiful province.
These sections should be relatively simple to build compared to Alberta's other priority, high-speed rail between Edmonton and Calgary. This part will be built on undeveloped land.
Highway 2 is so busy and it's so congested, and it just makes sense.
Alberta's 30-year passenger rail plan took 2 years to create and provides the momentum many have been hoping for.
We'll ensure Albertans and Calgarians have this easy access to the airport, while also providing the same accessibility to visitors and business travelers.
Also part of the plan, feeder trains to communities including Airdrie and Cochrane, and a train between Calgary and Banff. A private group proposed building this section at no cost to the province if the government builds the rail between the airport and Calgary core.
I would say the gun has gone off now, and so that's about 5 years, so we should be able to have people running in 2031.
If their proposal goes through, he says passengers might be able to ride the train to Banff for about $20 to $30 or splurge $200 to $300 for business class.
I mean, everything over in Banff is pretty walkable, so I feel like the need for a car isn't really necessary.
The province says the airport train would connect to Calgary's Blue Line LRT extension. Alberta's full passenger rail vision could cost at least $60 billion. Over the next 3 years, the province plans to spend $15 million moving the project forward.
The funding will also support initial planning for a central station in downtown Calgary. This vision for a passenger rail station would connect to a future Calgary event centre.
Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Calgary.
And if Green Gables fans will want to check this event out, Kindred Spirits of Lucy Maud Montgomery can see a new exhibition in Calgary. Details coming up.
You're watching CTV News, Calgary.
To celebrate the birth of Canadian author Lucy Maud Montgomery more than 150 years ago, a traveling exhibition called Kindred Spirits is making a stop in Calgary. The exhibition contains information about Montgomery and her career, writing the classic Anne of Green Gables and Emily series. It has also book art in this exhibition created by members of the Canadian Bookbinders and Book Artists Guild. The Calgary chapter is hosting this exhibition, saying it's a chance to see pieces inspired by Montgomery and her characters. Monday evening, organizers will host an opening reception with a hands-on component.
We'll also have a table with what we call a make and take, and that's this here. So we have a couple of pages that you'll come and fold and bind this little pamphlet.
The exhibition runs until the end of the month at the Central Library. Brown Bagging for Calgary Kids has launched a new campaign at First Street Market. Each vendor at the market has chosen a featured menu item. Every time that item is purchased this month, $4 will be donated to Brown Bagging for Calgary Kids. That donation is enough to ensure a nutritious lunch for a child in need.
This is such a great way for people in our city to help their neighbors and to help ensure that everyone has access to the food they need. You just come on down at lunch or at dinner time or whenever fits your schedule and purchase one of the menu items, and you're automatically helping ensure that kids have access to the food they need. It's a pretty great way to make a difference in your everyday activity with something you'd be doing already.
Brown Bagging for Calgary Kids provides nearly 8,000 lunches every school day to students at more than 280 schools. Students interested in veterinary medicine got some hands-on experience today. The program is geared toward grade 9 through 12 students. They spent the day learning skills from U of C veterinary students. Those include suturing, knot tying, and listening to a horse's heart and lungs. This Youth Veterinary Science Challenge is a joint effort between the Calgary Stampede and the University of Calgary, designed to inspire the next generation of vets. The skills the students learned today will be put to the test in a competition tomorrow. Danielle Savoni is back here in a moment with her Full Sky Watch forecast. She's going to tell us about some pleasant weather on the way, but also chance of showers. Stay with us.
All right, temperatures are pretty good today. We got just above normal in the city. We got to 20 degrees. 19 is a normal daytime high for this time of year. And check out Brooks in those mid-20s. Drumheller mid-20s. Medicine Hat as well. And Lethbridge got to 23 for today. So some warmer temperatures today. Also coming with some gustier weather, especially in Lethbridge, where we maxed out at 65 kilometers per hour. Calgary closer to that 60 mark. Red Deer as well. So central to northern Alberta is where we had all that active, really active weather, and where they had severe thunderstorm watches and warnings in place. In the south, we did have a little bit of activity earlier, especially north of the city with regards to thunderstorms, but non-severe and fairly short-lived. And for Calgary, we've seen some showers from this as well. So tomorrow will behave similar to what we had today. We still have that band of moisture that's going to be tracking up, and it will likely peak a little bit into Calgary. Also in the southeast corner, basically from Milk River Coots over to Medicine Hat, there is the chance of some showers. This is tomorrow morning, and certainly a lot of cloud cover in the southeast corner. For Calgary, a mix of sun and cloud for the morning, and as we get later into the afternoon hours, after 4 p.m., we have the chance of a couple showers peeking in just like we had today. Smaller risk of any sort of thunderstorm activity. That risk gets greater as you go up the QE2. Sunday, we have a greater chance of getting any sort of shower and thunderstorm activity in the city, and certainly some rainfall, especially Sunday night. So we will likely get a little bit of sunshine in the morning hours, and then by 4 o'clock, we're certainly into some showers and the risk of thunderstorms. And then this will intensify and become more consistent Sunday night through really early Monday morning, when we have the potential of seeing anywhere from 1 to 2 millimeters of rainfall. So looking at that longer range forecast, 18 degrees is our high for tomorrow, potentially 19. So temperatures similar to what we had today. And again, those conditions as well. Some sunshine in the morning with some cloud cover, then clouding over. It will be just as windy tomorrow as it was today in the afternoon hours. And then isolated showers later in the day, especially after 4 p.m. and a small risk of a thunderstorm. Sunday, greater risk of showers and thunderstorms later in the day, and a little cooler, only a high of 15 degrees. We'll bounce back to 18 by Monday.
Thank you, Danielle. One of the best-known bears in the Rockies isn't letting anyone track him this summer. Parks Canada has been collaring grizzlies with GPS trackers to better understand how they're using the landscape and what bears deem as suitable and important for their habitats. Last month, wildlife specialists captured and collared 3 adult male bears in Banff National Park using culvert traps. That included Bear 122, better known as the Boss, a bear that has fathered about half the grizzly cubs in the park. However, in less than a week, the Boss was able to remove the collar. Parks Canada says it's not unusual for a large grizzly to do this. Parks Canada has implemented a 1.5-kilometer no-stopping zone along the Bow Valley Parkway between Baker Creek Chalets and Protection Mountain Campground. Now, officials want to avoid bear jam scenes like this from a well-documented incident in 2016. Parks Canada says it's responded to several reports this year already of bear jams, unsafe parking, and people leaving their vehicles to approach bears. Crowding bears along the roadside and actively pursuing them causes bear stress and may result in them avoiding critical food sources and habitat. And crowds of people can block escape routes for bears trying to avoid oncoming trains. June is also mating season for bears, and male bears may display unpredictable behavior. Big CFL season for Calgary has kicked off. We're hosting the Grey Cup this year, and fans are continuing their tailgating tradition at McMahon. More to come in a moment. Cliff Fletcher, who led the Calgary Flames as GM to their only Stanley Cup in 1989, has died. Fletcher worked in hockey for 8 decades. He was a general manager with the Atlanta and Calgary Flames, the Toronto Maple Leafs, and Phoenix Coyotes. Fletcher was 90 years old.
This time swept in towards the 6-yard box. It's gone in! Canada with the early advantage.
Canada took on Ireland in front of a sold-out crowd in Montreal tonight in their last pre-World Cup friendly. Canada had a corner kick in the 23rd minute, and the ball went off an Irish player for an own goal. In the second half, Ireland has a penalty kick here. Canadian goalkeeper Maxime Crépeau made the save, but Ireland scored on the rebound to make it 1-1, sending thousands of Irish fans into a tizzy. And that's how it ended. Canada opens the World Cup against Bosnia-Herzegovina on June 12th in Toronto. That game will be live on CTV. CTV and TSN. The Calgary United Sports Table Tennis Association will play host to the Western Canada Championships this weekend. One player from Calgary is hoping to continue his fine play. Glenn Campbell reports.
Jesse Yin is getting prepared for this weekend's Western Canadian Table Tennis Championships. Yin started playing table tennis at a young age. He was 5 when his grandfather took him under his wing to teach him the finer points of the game. His grandpa was a coach. Jesse fell in love with the sport.
I love how you have to use your thinking. It's not just about swinging the racket and getting the ball on the table. You have to think, be strategic against your opponents. A lot of them think that it's very simple. You just swing your arm and then just hit the ball. But there's a lot of things to it. There's your form, there's spin to the ball, and how your opponent plays.
Yin is 13 years old and is one of the top junior table tennis players in the province. He's looking forward to this weekend.
My goal is to help Alberta win the team because I value a lot of teamwork over individuality. I'm very excited to play against other provinces like BC, Manitoba, and Saskatchewan.
Team Alberta is expecting big things from Yin at the Western Canadians. He definitely gives them a chance to win.
Yeah, he is one of the best player at under 15 boys currently in Alberta, and he's been training pretty hard. He's very dedicated.
Jesse's long-term goals are to represent Team Canada and one day play in the Olympics. As for his short-term goals,
I would probably continue. I'll probably play until I go into university, and I hope to get other younger kids to start playing the sport as well.
Glenn Campbell, CTV Sports, Calgary.
The championships are at the Calgary Central Sportsplex in the Northeast tomorrow and Sunday. Another CFL regular season has officially kicked off in Calgary. Fans flocked to McMahon Stadium for the home opener against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers on a pleasant evening. The tailgating tradition in the parking lot continues in full force. The barbecues were lit up and everyone checked out the latest Stamps merchandise. It's a big year for Calgary football fans. Our city will host the Grey Cup in November, and many fans hope the Stamps will make it to that big game. Now, things did not turn out so well for the Stamps tonight. Winnipeg scores a last-second field goal. Winnipeg wins by a score of 30-28 tonight, so the Stamps start the season 0-1. They host the Rough Riders on Saturday, June 20th. It was a nice night for football, though. Thanks very much for joining us tonight. Have a great weekend.